Happening, guys? Mathematic is back again. So again, I'm just saying to you guys, I'm not going to review just other things. It's because it gets pretty boring when you just see the same shit all the time and nothing being changed. So just I'm going to review some things in general that I like to review because things I've been to go and see and do. So quick one on the Game of Thrones finale. Everyone's talked about it already. I've seen that stuff now. Absolutely rush job. I don't need to say I'm not even necessarily the biggest Game of Thrones fan to that extent, but it's pretty clear that everyone's unhappy with it, and I can see why. To me, guys, I'm a person where I may not necessarily know to explain all of the backstory. I've not read the books, but when I watch something and I follow it to a certain point, I expect to see some form of continuity, and there was no continuity in my view from the final episode. The second to last episode, I think it was really good in the way that they built up the suspense for the final episode, and then it all came to nothing. It all came to shit. So I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in there. As far as everybody's aware, it just was absolute what the fuck, and it just made no sense to me how the ending was the way it was. I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't seen it, but realistically now you've probably seen it or you've probably heard of it. You've heard the uproar. People are saying it should have been done again. I don't see the point in them doing it again. They need to bring it to a close, but the way they brought it to a close, all the amount of series and everything else that's gone on, I mean, something's crazy like 40 million a show or something like that, probably more. And they ended it the way they ended it, like it was Lord of the Rings. To me, that was just absolute waste of time. So many different stories took place for nothing. The Dragon Queen dies the way she dies. After all that, to me, it's just a bit of a bullshit. It's just an easy cop out to think we can't really mess around anymore with this. We don't know how to do it, so let's just kill her off. Obviously, Cersei dies in the one before that. Everyone's unhappy with that one as well. Jaime Lannister dies. Everyone's unhappy with that one. And then the way Jon Snow goes out after all that bullshit about the Lord of Light and all this sort of stuff like that, all these prophecies, and then he just gets basically just told to go and do the Black again, which doesn't make any sense because there's no White Walkers anymore, and they're friends with the Wildlings anyway, as far as I'm aware. So what the fuck is that about? So now he's going to walk off into the distance on his horse and everything else, which to me is just a bit of a farce. Doesn't really make sense. So much stuff that could have happened. I mean, even the name of the guy, I can't remember the name of all of these guys. Like, for me, I don't sit down watching this stuff to that level, but when I watch it, as I say, I want to enjoy. And the guy who made King, oh man, it would have been good if they made him the king, and just at the end of it, just before it finishes, you get like a flicker of his eyes, and you think, wow, and it's the eyes of the somebody else, or something happens, so you get a flicker of his face and it's somebody else, who knows, or it's like one of the White Walkers or something like that, or he's the real king of the White Walkers, some shit like that. But that didn't happen, guys. It was just like, I've been waiting for it all this time. Sure he was, and I'm sure he was laughing behind the scenes as well. But that's my 2 cents on that, guys. Absolute waste of time for the final episode. Not sure what they were trying to achieve. Obviously, they've got a budget, they've got a time frame, but in my opinion, it would have been better if they delayed it and waited rather than forcing it through like that. Just really disappointing. The final book hasn't necessarily even been, as far as I'm aware, fully completed. Again, I don't read those books. I don't necessarily have time to do that, but nonetheless, disappointing. In other news, John Wick, 5 out of 5, guys, 5 out of 5. That's John Wick, Parabellum. Parabellum Latin means prepare for war, I believe. Let me check that. Yes, prepare for war. So from the opening to the close, there was only one fight scene in that where it got to a little point where I was a little bit thinking, how long is this going to drag on for? And that was in the very final few stages of him taking on who he wants to take on. Don't ruin it for the people who haven't seen it, but for me, guys, they give the fans what they want. Keanu Reeves has done a good job. You can tell he's getting a little bit older. I really question how he's doing some of the scenes, because the way he's walking looks like a man who's not fully, as slick as he once was. But nonetheless, guys, I mean, for me, very well put together. And what I like about it, guys, is that there's no messing around. They enter into the film, and within a short space of time, it starts building up, and you can see that this is just going to be one man against the world doing his thing, non-stop action, pretty much until the end. And even at the end, you drop it again with some more action, guys. So it was, to me, that's what I wanted from this type of film. Nobody needs any overly detailed story. You get a few attractive people in it, a few people you think, oh, what's going on here? You know, that's pretty much the premise of these things. And he's a man against the world, so to speak, and that's what John Wick is about. He's dropping in some of these, I think it's Belarusian, he's dropping in there, which is interesting to see. It's good to see that side of things. Good stuff for that film. I was saying 5 out of 5. For consistency from the first one was really good. The second one, in my opinion, was even better, based in Italy. Really enjoyed that one. And the third one, he went to Morocco, Casablanca. And again, I don't know how that fully ties in the way it came about in the final part, the latter stages, when he went to Morocco. Seemed a little bit to me like it doesn't really make sense how the guys are supposed to just go and do that and then find the head chief guy who's supposed to be, you know, the head of the table. Don't know how that makes sense. Bit of a bullshit. But nonetheless, I wouldn't overcomplicate it, guys. I'm not trying to ruin the film, but I wouldn't overcomplicate the storyline. He kept it on point. It's a little bit of a shame, I think, where Halle Berry, I'm not trying to ruin it, but I would have liked to know a little bit more about that character. But again, there's only so much she can do. Maybe in films to come, you'll see a little bit more about her. But there's a scene where she's running, and I don't want to ruin it, but there's a scene where she's running, and she has her 2 dogs with her. One of the best scenes in the whole film. One of the best scenes, and everyone sat up like, yeah, let's do it, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it was a fantastic film, guys. Very rarely do I try and go to the cinema and you know, you're on the edge of your seat thinking, yeah, let's go now, let's go, we're ready to go. That was a film. And for those that are into jiu-jitsu, martial arts, all these different types of martial arts they're mixing in, you can see even, I think they're putting in a little bit of Salat in there, because there's a lot of knife work in there. For those that ever done Wing Chun or anything in those natures, there's a lot of different styles they're putting there. A bit of jiu-jitsu I could see in there. Definitely saw some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. A lot of on the ground groundwork going on. Very well done, very well choreographed, and whoever the fight choreographs, whoever does that, hats off to you. They know their stuff. They're putting it together. Obviously, it's a film. You wouldn't expect a guy to go so long and not get any, you know, any hits at all, which is a little bit sort of like, yeah. But nonetheless, guys, for me, John Wick has been consistent. I'm looking forward to the 4th part of it. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if he's got it in him, but damn, that was a good film. That was a good film. Well worth the trip. Nothing like films that hype up just the name of the actor, and then subsequently you don't know what's going to happen, and then it gets to a point you just think, well, this is pretty shit, why have I wasted my time doing this? This was a film. It's an action film for those that just want to switch off and enjoy themselves and watch a film and just basically appreciate the what goes into making, you know, all these different elements come together. I've got to give my hat off to them. They've done a good job. So that's my review on that one, guys. Again, I try not to ruin the films for people, because I know it's very annoying and people don't put it in the details about spoilers. So I'm trying not to do that. But if you want me to get into details a little bit more, just let me know. Man, some other stuff I want to review. But keep it going, guys. Thank you very much, Marta Martinez. See you soon. Peace.